records. Smell the cover, read all the verses. Tell me about your favorites on vinyl and vision.
I am very pleased and honored to have Eddie Shaw on the show today. Eddie Shaw was the bass player for the Monks, and it was an amazing honor to be able to speak with him. I'm just going to tell you right now that I'm sorry that there was a problem with the recording of this. My internet connection was lagging horribly, so I've cleaned it up very, very well. So it's going to make sense to you. You'll hear everything, but there was a hesitation in my tone and in my delivery in some of this conversation, which was unfortunate for me. But it is what it is, you know. But ultimately, it was a great conversation. Eddie got to share a lot with me, and on the show, what I do is I talk about influential albums or inspirations, particularly an album, which Eddie did not choose. So basically, we just discussed a lot of the Monks, and I've had questions. I've had questions for a long time. I've been a fan since the mid to late 90s, and this band is insane. I mean, the story alone of the Monks, if you don't know it, it's insane. I don't want to get into too many details because you can just listen to the conversation. I think we kind of go over the entire history. I'm pretty sure that it's fairly well detailed. I tried not to jump around too much, tried not to get off the rails, but it's really good. And so, yeah, I was just trying to crack into the head of Eddie Shaw being like, how did you create this? Where did this come from? Because it was insane. 1966 in Germany, 5 American GIs discharged from the army, still playing in a band, still trying to make a living, a career out of music in Germany. And this is what they came up with. It's insane. Like the look of the Monks, the shaved heads with the tonsures, the black suits with the white rope noose ties, anti-Beatles, anti-pop. It's so crazy. And I'm so honored to have Eddie on the show, and I'm so glad that he took the time to speak with me. And so I hope you guys really enjoy this as well. And if you do, please do all the things you do with the internet is what we ask. You know, like, share, subscribe, comment, rate, review on all the platforms, all the places that you might find this at. And that'll help us immensely and help us to continue doing a show like this, and maybe even bring you some other really inspirational and influential guests in the not too distant future. For those of you listeners who don't know who the Monks are, I mean, you have to find this out. You have to listen to it. So here are 2 songs. Otherwise, links will be provided in the show notes to Eddie's and all of Eddie's things. He has written the book Black Monk Time. I bought my copy. You can buy these copies too. I will provide links in the show to where to get these books, as well as other books that Eddie has written. He has written an updated version of Black Monk Time called Black Monk Time 2, which is when the band had reunited and did reunion shows. It was kind of, I guess, a conclusion to the Monks' legacy. And then he also writes fiction as well. So he has a number of books that he currently has available through his website, and will have one coming out, he tells me. So yes, do those things too. Thank you very much, folks. Enjoy. How are you doing?
Fine. You, James?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for joining me. It's an honor to be here with you, regardless of the inability to connect digitally. So I guess let's just start at the beginning, Eddie, if you don't mind telling me about when and where you were born.
I was born in Marysville, California. Is that
Okay.
the question you asked?
Yeah. And when were you born?
Oh, I can't tell you that because it's too old.
Okay, that's fair enough.
1939, I was born.
Really?
I didn't even
Okay.
know I didn't know the numbers went back that far.
Yeah, huh? So what was the home life like? You lived with your parents, I imagine. Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I had 6 brothers and sisters.
Okay, big family.
Yeah. My mother, I sent you a song, the first song she ever taught me.
Yes, the Freckle song, was it?
She got freckles on her butt. She is nice. Did you get that?
I did get it. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine you recorded that recently or more recently.
I recorded it a couple of years ago. It was just a joke. It was just playing a joke.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very funny though. I mean, and like your mother was musical. She played the guitar, am I correct?
Who I did?
No, your mother. Didn't she play guitar or
Oh,
something?
she was a piano player. She was a boogie woogie piano player.
Oh, really? What about your dad? Did he have any musical ability?
My dad, the only music that he heard was the sound of his welder. He was a welder.
And he had no interest in music, you
Well,
don't think? Like he didn't even play any music?
I heard he got interested in music. He got interested in music one when he got in a fight with somebody and hit him over the head with his bass. The only um, connection to music I know that he has.
Okay. All right. So what about in the house? I mean, like, so your mother was musical, so did she play like a lot of records in the house or anything like that?
Oh yeah, she played records. At the time it was Bing Crosby and Duke Ellington and those people, Count Basie,
Yeah, a lot of jazz.
Glenn Miller,
So no rock and roll. There was like no kind of, I guess in
rock and
the
roll.
uh
I I first heard rock and roll basically with a rock around the clock guy. What's his name? Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Haley.
Haley. And oddly enough, I met him in Cologne, Germany too when we were playing. He was there too.
Yeah, you got to play with him, didn't
Yeah.
you? So now speaking of Germany, I mean, obviously we're gonna move ahead to when and why did you join the army?
Well, I was going to get drafted, and so I signed up for the Army band. I passed the test. I was stationed. I was going to be stationed in San Francisco, which is 250 miles from here. But I said, if I'm going to be in the Army, I want to see something. I don't want to be just 250 miles away from home. So I said, no, no problem. We'll put you in an artillery unit, and that's where I went.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't your choice. They kind of just shipped you to Germany.
No, it wasn't my choice. No, but it was good because
Okay.
I wanted to go overseas. I wanted to see if I had to be in the Army, I had to see something.
Right, right. And so what was happening in the 60s like when you got enlisted? Was there any conflicts going
Oh yeah,
on
there
in,
was
in Germany or
the the Vietnam War was just starting
not? Yeah. So what year was that you
in
went over?
'61. I was in the Army from '61 to February '64.
February 64. Yeah, okay. So and so you signed up for the band. Like you weren't really interested in actually fighting, huh?
No, I wasn't interested in fighting. No.
And you weren't in anything. You there was no conflict to be had at the time that you were serving. Is that correct or
Well, I says, well, if I don't want to go into the Army band, Sixth Army band, that was the same band that Chet Baker was in, all those people.
yeah.
Uh, my career would probably have been way much different.
Right.
But I went to
Yeah.
Germany and in an artillery unit, and all these guys, all these lonely GIs sitting around with nothing to do, and a couple of them played guitar, and that's how it started.
Yeah, so I heard that story that what it was Gary and Dave were having these jam sessions. They were just kind of playing together and you overheard them or you saw them playing. Is that
Well,
right?
they had a service club. They had a room there where you could rent guitars and go in and play them, and they would go
Okay.
in there, and I would see them sometimes. And so I told them they needed a bass player, and they said sure. So, but I had to go buy a bass, and then I had to learn how to play it, which was three chords. It took me 5 minutes. I got that part down, and we were off.
Right. Yeah, because you were a very well learned musician by this point, but you had been playing trumpet, correct?
I've been playing trumpet and drums. I was
Okay.
playing drums in a Dave Brubeck type uh, band.
Yeah. In the US. or in the army?
Yeah, in the army. I
Oh, okay.
I played on the on the way to Europe. I played on the ship, uh, and I was a Brubeck type trio. In the same way, I played drums there for quite a while.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, so you were technically very proficient.
Well, I don't know if I was proficient. I could I could hoax myself through things, you know.
Sure, sure. And especially for the bass too. I mean, obviously you have a sense of rhythm if you're a drummer. So the bass seemed like natural for you. Weren't opposed to it at all.
I wasn't opposed to it. It seemed like it was natural.
Yeah. I heard that Gary and Dave initially didn't want to take you on. Like they were kind of opposed to having you as a bass player.
Well, Dave was opposed to it because he wanted somebody who would be Elvis Presley type player.
Oh,
He
okay.
wanted, and jazz, he says, jazz, that stuff stinks. I don't want anything to do with that.
Really?
Uh,
Well, and it seemed to work out. So I mean, like everyone in the band, the Monks, kind of brought in their own sensibilities. And I guess, do you
yeah.
think that that's what kind of attributed to the Monks making the style of music that they made?
Well, it's a combination of being in a different culture, Germany,
Yeah.
and playing American music. And then when we met the managers, they said, you got to find an original style. And so we started experimenting. And basically, it was everybody had to forget what they knew and start all over again, you know. So I would go, okay, how about thunk, 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 thunk? And Roger would go, yeah, bang, 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 you know. And then
Yeah.
Gary would say, well, now the feedback, he'd have to control it. But that's what we were discovering things as we were playing.
Right. Yeah. And you were playing a lot. So,
We played 7 nights a week. In a year and a half, we had 3 days off in a year and a half. And it was 6 hours every day except Sunday, which we had to play 8 hours.
oh my God. How did you even manage that? Like, because I was talking to my friend last night, and I was just like, I picked up my guitar for
Well, the
like
Beatles did
an
the
hour and
same
a half.
thing. That's the English were coming to Germany and they were playing the same amount of time. And that's where they got their
Their chops.
skills, you know.
Yeah,
You
I
just,
know, but I mean, like, just physically, I mean, the like the use playing the guitar for that long. I mean, it just hurts, and like I couldn't pick up my guitar after playing it for an hour and a half the other day.
you just fall asleep and you play anyway. Yeah,
You,
you can stand there for 8 hours and just go, oh, okay.
yeah,
You know, and you look out and see if people are talking about you, if they're talking to each other, which is bad. You don't want them talking to each other.
right,
You want them to be talking about you, you know. And so
yeah,
you got to do things that test them, and that would keep us awake.
yeah. So when you're doing all these shows, you're doing the multiple hours a night every night of the week, and you'd play for different audiences, right? So like you'd have a matinee show, an early evening, and then like a late evening show, right?
Well, yeah, well, it's straight on. On Sundays, you have 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 o'clock matinee, and then all the other nights would be 9 to 3 in the morning. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And these were for different audiences, right? There was a segregation going on at that time too. So you had like teens, you had white audiences, and then you had black audiences.
Well, we there wasn't any segregation. It was just that different groups would come in at different times for some reason.
Okay. Oh, all right. So do you think that your music went over better for any of those groups?
Well, yeah, as far as the groups went, we were we we could copy. We played the Beatles, I want to hold
Hmm.
your hand, and the audience would sing with us, They would sing I want
Yeah.
to F your hand,
Okay.
you know. And so it was all that cheeky stuff, we were cheeky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is as the Torquays, right? The five
Yeah.
Torquays, right? This is what like so you're just playing a lot of covers and stuff at that time.
Yeah. It was Torquays.
So let's see. So I'm jumping around a little bit because I have a long list of like basically things I'd like to ask you. So like let's say early on like when the band was formed, the members all of the members were getting close to discharge from service,
Right.
right?
I was the first one to be discharged. When I got discharged, I says, "You guys want to stay over here?" And they said, "Yeah, we want to stay over here and make money." And I said, "Okay." So I got out and I stayed there and waited for them to get out.
Oh, okay. So I mean, was the impetus? I mean, basically, like you knew that everyone was getting out and everyone wanted to stay in Germany
Yeah.
because you already had gigs like lined up. You knew the system. You knew how to get
Yeah,
paid.
we had an agent and he was one of the top agents in Germany and he
Oh,
kept us
okay.
busy. He
Oh,
for, for a year and a half we worked as the Torquays, and then for about a year and a half we worked as the monks.
right. So like okay, so you had to fill up a lot of hours during all of these sets that you played. So what were you playing? Because like so the monk the early years came out the 1964 to 1965. So I guess that's this period of time right now that we're talking about. And that was like early
Oh
Monk's
yeah.
music, like those demos. Those like early versions of what eventually became Black Monk Time. Um, what else were you playing to fill in all that time?
Uh, we were playing cover songs. We played cover songs.
Yeah. Would you have to repeat a lot of stuff over the course of the time, over the course of the
No,
hours?
no, we had a lot of original songs, but a lot of them weren't monk style.
Right. Oh, okay. So you actually had other material.
Yeah.
Huh. So whatever happened with that material? You guys ever record any of that stuff?
Um, Jack White got a hold of a couple of them, and he released them on Third Man Records.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I saw that. That was called oh, I can't remember what that's called now.
Hamburg tapes or
I
something
think
like that.
yeah, did you know that Black Monk Time is not streaming on any platforms right now?
No, I didn't. It isn't.
Yeah, like no, it's not. I mean, you can find it on YouTube right now, but yeah, the album is not available digitally anywhere.
Huh. I just got a notice
Yeah,
from Light in the Attic, which is up in Oregon,
right. They did the reissue. They did the uh
and they
the the
said that
early
they just
years
bought the
album.
rights to it. I thought yeah, and I thought, well, that's strange. They didn't ask us, but anyway, they say they got it.
Huh. Yeah, but they're not streaming it anywhere yet.
Huh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
We'll have to send them a little letter. Just be like, "Hey, maybe we can put this up on the platform so everyone can hear it."
Yeah. Yeah. Tell them that.
I will, because I think that it should be known. I mean, it behooves them. I mean, if they bought the rights, obviously they want to make money off of it. But I mean, the music is important. It's
Well,
it's incredibly influential and like just historically
nobody knows
significant.
who owns
I
the
mean, it's
rights. We say we own the rights. Uh, Polydor International says they own the rights. Universal says they own the rights. Everybody owns the right.
wow. So, is anybody making any money off of it? What's going
Well,
on with
I
it?
get about $500 every year.
Oh, Jesus, every year. That's not enough to live off of.
Well, I live off of other things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, you have had a long career even after the monks, which I think that it's important to note that. I mean, obviously, I don't know how like uh I don't know if it rubs you the wrong way to always people always approach you about the Monks and they kind of like neglect to mention the other bands that you've been part of, like Minnesota or Copperhead before that. But you've been fairly busy uh, right along.
Well, yeah. Well, I started professionally when I was 15 years old. Played at the Nugget Casino in Carson City, and I was on the backstage, and Wayne Newton was on the front stage. He was 12. I was 15.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and I mean, so I think that's why I was saying that you seem to be a proficient musician because you have been kind of playing right along since being 15 and even up until now. Are you playing anything currently?
Uh, no, not recent. I've got about six full albums unreleased, and I don't know what to do with them. I'm just sort of hanging on to them. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and is that what kind of music is it?
It depends. Some of it is like classical. Well, some of it is like krautrock,
Oh, okay. That's cool.
or whatever. I don't know. Experiment. I get a sound and I
Yeah,
experiment with it.
that's cool. Well, see, I that's interesting. I have a question for you about that because let me just ask you about that. You know, obviously the Monks was an experimental style of band. Like the music that they made was experimental for the time. It definitely pushed boundaries. Is that something that you've always been interested and still seek to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. I don't have any favorite type of music.
Yeah,
All music is good.
sure.
Because music is the spirit which we all live with. It's our inner language that I don't have any problem with. So I can play. I like old country, but I like real old country, not the Nashville stuff. I don't the
Sure.
Nashville stuff. I don't care for too much. But if it's real, authentic old country and funny, I love it. Or I love jazz.
Yeah.
I love classical. I love electronic music, and some of it I've experimented with is electronic.
Okay. And you're doing some of that now.
Yeah,
Cool. I'd love to hear it at some point. I mean,
I'll send you.
it sounds intriguing.
I'll send you a sample.
Okay. That'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate everything that you've sent me already. I mean, I know that they were just kind of demos. You sent me, well, actually, you sent me a song from Minnesota,
Yeah.
right? And that was to kind of give an idea of the style of jazz that you are capable of and kind of like what influenced you early on in your career, right?
Well, yeah. That's the simple Miles Davis stuff. That solo in there, but then the backup trumpets come in loud and high register. That's also me. You know.
Hmm. So, can you do you think
So
I usually speak to people about influential records, like usually one record that kind of like helped kind of shape what they do. What do you think, if anything,
well,
like
one
musically?
well my I was basic. The major influences on me were uh, Dave Brubeck's 1956 or 55 album. I forget the name of it. I still have it, but I haven't looked at it. Yeah,
Would it be this one? Maybe this one?
yeah,
How about this one?
maybe. And Miles Davis was with the blues or something. Yeah,
I have this one. This one's in rough shape. Working with them,
yeah,
it's in real
yeah.
rough shape.
Is that yours?
Yeah, yeah. I just well, one of these I just picked up recently. This Miles Davis one I've been sitting on for a long time because it's just so banged up. I don't know what to do with it really. It doesn't really play so great. But uh, but yeah, I sell records, so I mean, I pick up stuff all the time, and I just happen to have these on me now.
I've got them all in in storage, and they're all in good shape. I,
Oh
yeah, all
yeah,
the way back from
cool.
1955 to not many recent ones. I haven't been buying vinyl lately because of CDs.
Yeah, I don't. Sure, they're stupid expensive right now too.
Yeah, they are.
Those actually, if you have some early Miles Davis from like the 50s, those are very, very
I
valuable.
know
I
they
mean,
are.
you could probably,
I know they are.
yeah.
That's why
You're just gonna hang on to those?
I got a guard dog and a guard with a 50 caliber machine gun standing there. Nobody's going to get
Ooh,
them.
yeah. Well, what about the Monks records? Do you have any of those originals?
Um, I have one original Monks record. Well, yeah, I have a single and Black Monk Time.
Wow. So you know the value of those too, right? I mean, like those, like the 7 inch, the single that you have, is that a Monk single or was that the 5 Torquay single?
No, it wasn't the Torquay single. I've got that, but I don't know what it's worth. I don't know if it's
I saw it listed
worth
for
anything. I don't know.
1200 twelve
So
hundred dollars about right now.
yeah, right. I know Black Monk Time is $1,200.
No, the single too, the Torquay's single.
Really?
I saw it listed, yeah, on Discogs. One sold for like $1,200.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very valuable.
I'm going to have to go out and dig up the backyard and see if I can find it.
Okay, let me know if you do. I'd like to see that. So how do you feel about that? Like, the that kind of collector's mentality and like record prices skyrocketing like that, and the Monks album specifically being so valuable.
Well, it's normal, I guess. And if you've grown up with it, you're just used to it.
Right. But I mean, like, how do you feel about people like selling that record for like, 1,200, $1,500, whatever it is now?
Well, that's all right as long as they give me a cut.
You should hit people up. You should hit people up when you see them for sale. Just be like, hey, if you don't mind
Yeah,
hitting me,
right.
sending me 10%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's that'd probably be the better royalty for you, really. So actually, speaking of the Black Monk Time record, I mean, so originally it only got pressed in Germany, right? And do you know how many copies they made?
No, I don't.
No idea, huh? You don't know what it sold like back then either?
Well, I know it got on the hit parade in Spain. Cuckoo
Hmm.
became a
Okay.
that was the second CD I think we made. So we made two single single records. One was Cuckoo. That got number three or something in Spain on the hit parade. In
Yeah,
Germany, I don't
that's
know.
pretty good. I mean,
But
so you guys were doing all right back then, huh?
well, yeah, we were doing fine. We were making a living.
Yeah, just playing the Monks music. Like this is after the Torquays. This is after like those uh 6 night a week engagements.
Yeah. And after it was all over with, I come back to the States. I figured it was, I didn't think that anybody was going to know who we were later until one day I woke up and somebody was knocking on the front door, and it was Mike Stacks from Ugly Things magazine who wanted to know if
Yeah,
I was Eddie Shaw from the Monks. I said, "What?" He said, "You Eddie Shaw from the Monks?" I said, "Yeah." It was really quite
right.
amazing. And all of a sudden, I thought, well, maybe we weren't such a failure after
No,
all.
no, not at all. It's funny, but I mean, like, so you had
Yeah.
no idea of what was going on in those 3 decades and how the music was still kind of permeating like around the world.
Well, yeah, and well, there was a girl group that did an album of our material.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I forget what they were called.
right. I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I forget their name too.
Uh, I forget, but but I wrote the book, and when I wrote the book, then all of a sudden we had agents, and people contacting me to see if we wanted to play New York, Vegas, Holland,
Right.
and that's when we did our reunion tours, and we did a number of
Right. And those were pretty successful.
those, and they were quite successful. I was surprised by them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
everybody seemed to know it, and I could sing. I could sing when we were singing a song, and I hate you, but call me. You can see everybody going, call me. I go, holy Christ, they know the songs.
Yeah,
It's quite amazing.
I bet. And then it's to come so much longer after you guys had broken up, and just thinking that it like that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Huh. Um, I'd like to ask you a few more questions. I guess considering we're talking about how, you came back to the United States, I was wondering, like, when you did move back to the United States, did you hear about punk music in the 70s?
Uh, yeah, yeah, no, well, yeah, I did. I took more notice of it when people like, oh God, I have a hard time remembering names. That's because I'm too old.
That's
Uh,
okay. Trying to think of Woman
anyway,
from New York.
I heard them doing our album, and that's when I wrote the book. When I heard that album, I wrote the book.
Oh, okay. Wild. But
And when I wrote the book, all of a sudden people got in contact with us, wanting to know if we would do this tour, we would do that tour, whatever.
yeah,
And we did it for a while until everybody started dying.
right. Yeah. So who's left? Just you and Larry is still alive?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Do you have any contact with Larry?
And all Larry can play is Green Onion, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, but how's he doing? Do you still stay in touch with him?
Well, he's a millionaire,
Oh,
but the reason is because he always in his pocket has a pen and a pad paper, and if you go eat lunch someplace, he'll leave before the bill comes there, but he'll leave his share, and he's a millionaire because he doesn't spend any money.
sure. Very tight. Yeah. Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's one way to make it happen. So,
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
well, I hope you're doing all right regardless. I mean, regardless of your methods.
I don't have any problems at all.
That's great. I like to hear that. Um, so can I ask you again about the punk scene in the 70s? Did you heard some punk in the 70s? Like you kind of like became
Oh
familiar?
yeah, there were a couple of groups. A couple of groups I really liked. Chemical Sub Brothers.
Yeah. What
I
about
really liked them.
what about the 70s though? Like, do you remember what was going on during the 70s?
Um, well, the '70s, I was playing in Minnesota,
Okay.
and I was based out of Minneapolis, and we worked in Boston. We did recordings in Nashville with Bob Johnson, who produced Simon and Garfunkel and Bob Dylan and all of those people,
Right.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Big
And
guy.
he wanted me to be a studio musician. I said, "What? I bring my lunch in a brown paper bag to work and eat lunch?" He says, "Yeah." That doesn't wasn't my idea of a romantic idea of being a musician.
Right. But so thinking about punk music though, it's just like, with you having been in the Monks, did you see any connection of like what the Monks did and like how it kind of like was connected to punk in a way?
Yeah, I saw connections between us and the punk scene, and also there was with kraut rock. You know, kraut rock.
Yep.
I I feel like some way, and I feel like we might have been the ones that were the first ones to do that.
Right. Yeah, actually no, you got a good point there. Yeah.
The Germans picked up on what we were doing and then improved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um I mean, so like, did you ever kind of like feel that like when, because like punk exploded at a point, and I imagine that you kind of heard about like the movement happening when it was happening. I mean, did you have any feeling like like almost a resentment towards it being like, yeah, we were already doing that like, back in the 60s?
No, every once in a while I'll get a feeling out of, I suppose it could be resentment, feeling, well, why doesn't anybody notice? I notice that I see different bands saying we're the first ones to do punk music.
Right.
I think bullshit, you know.
Yeah,
That's
of
all I can
course.
do.
Yeah, because you were kind of you already did it. You were kind of there. You were kind of
All
there
I can
before
do.
them.
And the thing is, it happened so early because it was right after the Beatles that were playing in Hamburg, that we were playing there. So Beatles started a movement, and this other movement that we started was right behind them, and nobody, some people don't seem to know that.
Yeah. No, right. Yeah, I think that's a good observation to make and a good point. And speaking of like, that era, like there were a few bands that could be considered like garage rock. I mean, and the Monks are kind of considered garage rock now. Um, and
We
they
weren't
were
garage
around.
rock.
You weren't garage rock?
No, we never played in the garage.
Well, right. But I mean, like, so people consider it that style of music, like garage rock style, like garage rock is a genre of music, kind of. You
Well,
know
I
what I mean?
guess I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean that like, around the same era that the Monks were playing, there's a few other bands that were kind of fit that style. Were you aware of any bands that were as weird as the Monks at the time that you guys were playing?
As weird as the monks?
Yeah.
Mm, no, I wasn't. But then I was living in a shell.
Right. You were kind of isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean like you didn't there was like no you didn't have any outlet to any other rock music that you think maybe could have informed like what Monks were doing? Like you didn't hear anything that was just like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Like maybe I'll try that like while we're writing whatever you were writing with Monks.
No, we didn't do that so much. We didn't use we didn't use other songs to to improve on. We
Hmm.
started from scratch. We didn't have any songs to copy and then change, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, because influence is a weird thing, you know? I mean, like from the moment you're born and you're listening to music and you grow up around it and you grow up with it, and then you start to try to make your own music. Um, maybe early on you hear something and you're like, I want to write something like that. But then as you get older and you get more experimental, obviously you've been experimental for a long time. Um, you don't use anything as a reference necessarily. You just kind of go off of like you just draw from memory, or you just kind of play what feels right. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I personally, and this isn't every monk, I don't like old music. I always like something new I haven't heard before.
Hmm.
And so, as an example, recently I heard a group called Cats and Jammer. Know who they are?
Hatson Jammer?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't. I've never heard of it.
It's a girls group, and they're infectious.
Okay,
And I got infected by them for a
cool.
while. But then now I'm tired of them. But for a while I was really enamored with them.
Yeah, where are they from?
They're from Denmark.
Oh, okay,
But it's Cats and Jammer, CATZENJAMMER, one word.
okay.
And they're kind of like, if I was going to think of any girl group that could have been the Beatles, they could be it.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to look it up. Sounds interesting.
They got rock, scissors, and paper. You know those. They got a couple of good songs there.
Okay. I'll look it up for sure. I always appreciate, finding some cool new music, you know?
Well, I'm always looking for new music.
Yeah. And how do you do that? Like, how do you find music these days?
I just I I go on YouTube or whatever, and I'll touch something. I'll watch one for a while, one group for a while. I fall in love with different groups at different times, and then I fall out of love with them after about 3 or 4 months, and somebody else new. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay. Variety, it's the spice of life, they say, right?
yeah.
Eddie, can I ask you a question about the managers that found you? What were their names? Walter and the you
Walter and Carl.
Walter and Carl, yes. Um, like with those managers having been like marketing advertisers, that was essentially their primary gig, right? When they met you. Do you think it was them that had the foresight to see what kind of lasting legacy the monks could have?
Well, they always told us we were going to have a long-lasting legacy, but we never believed it.
Yeah,
And 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 basically, they would say, "Well, you got to hit, you know, got to play it hard, hard, hard," and we play hard, and so they would be driving us like a like a covered wagon driver whipping the horses.
yeah,
They would be we would be doing we it they without them it was a combination of two cultures, German and American. I
yeah,
think that's what it is. You see two cultures in there because they were very square on their beats and stuff. And they go bam, 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 bam. You say, well, that isn't it. I don't get anything from that. You know,
hmm
but, oh, try it. And so, but anyway, Roger and I would pound out beats, and then whatever anybody could join in on, and they would join in on, and Dave would play. Dave basically kept his style, playing Elvis type music, but playing it on a banjo.
right. He has had to start playing more percussively, right? Because it like he
Yeah,
kind of got
it's
drowned out a
all
little bit,
it was all percussion. Everything was based upon percussion. It
right?
wasn't based on melody.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Do you,
the other thing was is not being a 12 bar or something. We would go 13 bars, 15 bars, something to
right,
increase tension.
right, yeah. That's complete, very effective.
And,
Um,
and so we'd play these clubs. That's we learned the tension from playing clubs and watching the audiences. And we would play something, play it over and over again, and watch them really get nervous. And then we would wait. And they're going about ready to explode, and then we would change it.
yeah, that's great. Um, again, about Walter and Carl, do you think they'd be surprised to see that the monks have found like a lasting success?
No, well, Carl, Carl was some people said he was a little insane. He was the guy who did the Volkswagen commercials, the
Uh-huh.
Volkswagen sitting out in the middle of nowhere, just a distant car. He did those ads. So
Okay.
he was a well-known publicist. Walter, on the other hand, was more reasonable with us, and Carl would give us outlandish things to do, and Walter would, when we started doing our reunion tours in Europe, Walter was there with us.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so was Jimmy Bovine, the producer from Polydor. He was also with us.
Yeah. But so and so thinking about like if they could see where the monks is now as far as like a kind of influential
They
and like
expected it.
they expected it.
Yeah, that's what they
Oh.
said.
Right, but it didn't happen at the time. It happened 30 years later is when you could really see the results. So I mean, like, did they live to
Um,
even see that? Are they still around?
well, no, I think they've all died.
Yeah.
I think they have because I haven't heard anything from them lately. But
Okay.
for years, we were always talking, and they were always saying, you know, we we knew we knew this music was gonna go out there. We knew it was going to start something, all that, and so they weren't surprised at all.
Did they get to see any of it? Did they get to see any of you guys
Yeah,
like doing the reunions? They did?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Everybody saw us except for um, Kiki. She committed suicide. I don't know why.
Kiki?
And Kiki, well, we
Who's
had four
Kiki?
men.
Oh, okay. She was one of the managers?
Yeah, she was the one who was in charge of. I think she was our publicist.
Okay.
Uh, Carl and Walter were our creative managers, and Gunther was he was a graphics guy, you know.
Yeah, artwork.
Yeah. And so we had quite a team.
Yeah. I didn't realize that you did have such a group behind you to help push the band.
Yeah, well, they told us they had a lot of faith in us.
Okay. Well, with good reason. I mean, they could see the future. They knew that. I mean, they had the right idea. It's just something went wrong. Just like somewhere. Obviously, the band, you guys as performers, kind of became what would you say,
Tired,
disillusioned or
tired. We became
tired?
tired,
Yeah.
tired.
Well, they were working you like they were working you hard. I mean. Do you think it was that? Do you think it was the team that was pushing you too hard to and it broke the band, or do you think it was just like
Oh
lack
no,
of
it was it was a tough nut to do. What we did was tough, and it was tough on them too. And so they started fighting with each other, and we
oh,
started fighting with each other.
right, right. Wow. So it just became a kind of a disaster, it just became
It's just after a while, we knew it was over when we got a message from Gary. He was in Denmark, or no, he was in Sweden. He said Roger went to New York, or Roger went home, and
yeah,
he sent me the note that Roger wrote. And Roger says, I can't do this anymore.
right. Huh.
And it was just
And
like
that
that.
w
Yeah.
right, it was just ended like that. He just left.
Yeah. So Larry and
Huh.
I got a job uh, uh, working in a wine house and saved up enough money to catch a tramp steamer home.
Yeah. Let's see. I have just a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind, Eddie. We were speaking about the managers a little while ago, and the whole idea of Monks was minimalism, right? It was anti-Beatles, anti-pop. So, what do you think were some of the influences, musical or not, that informed some of the band's choices?
Some of our choices,
Yeah.
you mean in how we played or what?
In all of it, in like how you were playing, like what you wanted to play, the messaging, the visual aspect of the band, like because I mean a
Well,
lot of that was the managers
basically,
too.
Gary Gary had to stop. Gary couldn't play any country western chords,
Yeah.
said don't do that. I couldn't do walking bass style stuff, like jazz. I had to
Yeah.
hit just beat, 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 beat. And we all had our parameters of what we were doing. Larry had the most freedom to do anything, and because we were the percussion, so we both worked with each other.
Right.
And the way we could work with each other is just to keep it simple,
Yep.
not get it too complicated.
Yeah. Um, so do you think that like is there anything you can think of? It doesn't have to be music that like kind of helped to inform any of that?
That helped us inform it.
Yeah. Like kind of inspired you guys to do that or made you think like this is the thing we should be doing?
Well, we knew it was the thing we should be doing, and we did it. But as it grew on and they wanted more, it took us a lot of fighting to get the first 12 songs. And then to get the next 12 songs, it was just like it was almost impossible because we're everybody, it seemed like everybody wanted to just get out of there. Everybody wanted to go home.
Yeah. Huh. So there's no other written recorded material, huh? That's like hiding in a vault somewhere, huh?
Mm, no, there's Gary got home. He opened up a studio and he did some recording, some country western stuff,
Hmm.
and I've listened to it. So. Uh, Roger Roger was never going to be a Roger. If he wouldn't have been in the army, he would have never been a musician. And Dave, well, he might have been an Elvis impersonator. I don't know,
Oh yeah.
but that was it. And Larry would have went home, and the only place he would have played the piano or the organ would have been in his living room, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
And I don't know. It was just a chance meeting of five guys in an army deal that didn't expect anything, and I was supposed to be playing music, and as it turned out, it I was playing music after I got out of the army. Right, stayed right there and did it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably the most proficient post monks as far as music was concerned, like kind of ongoing career.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a career. You know.
Yeah, yeah. What you had said earlier kind of led me to this question. At the time, did you ever think you were doing something that would alter the future?
No, not at the time. No.
Yeah. And how do you feel about it now?
Well, I'm proud of it. You know, I'm proud to be a monk.
Yeah. We're all
You
monks.
know, and everybody's a monk. You're a monk.
I know.
We're all monks.
I love it. I was actually thinking about shaving my head, shaving the thing in the tonsure.
Well, well, see, I got this hat here,
Yeah.
but see, this was like
Yeah, that's what's happening here. So that's why I was thinking I might as well just go for it and shave it. Do it.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
yeah, do it,
Okay.
do it. Don't let me talk you out of it.
No, I very well might. As a matter of fact, like what was that like back then, man? Like so when you guys finally kind of put on the outfit and then you shaved the heads, like what was it like to walk around like that? Because you had to live that 24/7. You couldn't hide that.
Well, yeah, you couldn't hide it, and we learned that the minute we got the haircuts. We went in, we were wearing the clothing. Carl and Walter they wanted to take photos, so we wore our ties and our black suits. They were tailor made.
Hmm.
And we went in, got the haircuts, and we walked out. All of a sudden, we noticed old women would smile at us, say, "Oh, hi, you guys," and we go, "Yeah, fuck you, excuse me, I mean, you know." But anyway, we would cuss and things like that, and they go, you know,
Shocked.
and but then, but the kids, the girls and stuff would look at us, and they would give us no eye contact.
Hmm.
They would always look down. They stand in front of you and look down. You talk to them, they go, yeah, 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 yeah. No, they would never give you any eye contact.
Yeah.
And from that, you get a feeling of power because you say, yeah, I can handle this.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It is a power, isn't it? Kind of because like you can kind of like you kind of have to give no fucks is kind of what they say now, huh?
Yeah,
That's great. I think that's why I'm going to try it. That's why I'm going to do it. Uh,
yeah, you got to try it. But you got to get a rope tie too.
okay. I'll do it. Trust me. Ever since I've heard the monks, I have really looked at them as kind of like an inspiration of like of a way of life more so than just like, great music,
Hmm.
you know?
Well, I don't know if it's a great style of life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you lived it. I guess you would have a better sense of it than I could, but powerful.
Well, monks are supposed to be self-deprived.
Yeah.
So with all the power and everything else, we if we're not self-deprived, we're not a monk.
Hmm. Well, I just have to say, I mean, I guess the thing I love most about the monks is that when I hear it, it sounds just as fresh and angry or aggressive as anything today, and the music speaks with this like the same sense of intensity of emotion. Like still, like
Hmm.
after all these years, it still has the same intensity. Um,
Hmm.
and I guess it has something to do with like this radicalism of you, like maybe at least your part of it is that you have always been willing to push a boundary and kind of be a little radical in your sense of music. Do you think that that's true?
Well, it's not on purpose to be radical or anything like that. It's just that's where it takes me.
Hmm.
I I last night I was watching Ascension. You know that movie,
Oh,
Ascension?
I haven't seen it. I think I've heard of it.
And I was watching it, and there's a tinkling music that goes on in the background,
Hmm.
and it was, and I thought, boy, that's interesting. You know, I could do something with that.
Yeah,
You know, it's just you're always hearing something that gets you going, and then you go to bed and you can't get it out of your head.
right. Yeah. I mean, do you feel like you're just as radical now as you ever were?
Oh yeah, I'm. My wife and I don't share the same kind of music.
Oh, me too. My wife hates what I listen to.
My wife is a country and western fan.
Oh, okay.
She liked Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton, Dolly Parton, Dolly Parton. I say, leave her, get me out of here. I don't want to listen to that.
So I guess you have like separate rooms. Is that what you do?
No, we just say, okay, don't talk about it, you know.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no sharing. Well, I feel you, man. I'm in the same boat. My wife and I will not listen to music together. We can't really because I like crazy
Yeah.
stuff. I like music that's too weird.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting to is the boundaries. I don't like the boundaries where people put you where you're just supposed to be inside this little fenced in area and you can't get out of it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. It's too monotonous too. I mean, like, the pop music is just it's too formulaic. It's always the same thing.
Yeah. And you can tell, I can tell the, the formula songs, you know, the formulas, stuff like that. Sometimes I can hear a song and I know, oh, I know that formula, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know exactly what's coming. It's obvious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's boring.
Yeah.
Um,
And so why listen to it? Because you know where it's going.
right.
You know, I want to go someplace. I want to go someplace new.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you, man. I mean, I wish that more people had that same feeling, but unfortunately, I think the majority of people don't. Well, Eddie, can I just say thank you very much for doing this? It's been really an honor.
James, thank you.
It's been an honor, a pleasure to speak with you. I'm sorry about the troubles with the technology, but I think we did it ultimately.
We got it to work.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a couple of I'll send you a couple of late jams.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I play all the instruments on these
okay.
because it's a studio.
Yeah. You have a studio still? You're
I'm sitting in it.
Oh, okay. Lucky you. I still gotta make my own. I gotta figure it out over here. I gotta build a place. It sucks. Yeah. All my instruments are like most of them are kind of stored away and I hate it. I hate that I can't have them like at hand ready to go,
Okay.
But I haven't received those
Okay.
books yet. I'll just tell you I
You haven't received the book?
not yet. No. But I have read that book already. Actually, um I think it was like 1999, maybe 2000. My friend Steve, who I was living with, let me borrow the book and I read it then. So it's been a while. I don't remember it too well because it's been so long, but I am looking forward to reading it again for sure because I remember it to be an amazing read.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because you have a lot of books out too. You write fiction as well?
Yeah, I've got more stuff. I've, it's all in files.
Yeah.
I've got I've got one coming out soon. It's called Linen's Ear. It'll be out soon,
Cool.
I think.
All right.
But I'm going to we'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled to look out for it. I'm gonna link everything that I can to you just to get people to to be aware of what you have and hopefully people will pick up some books from you. I definitely recommend Black Monk Time. I will definitely pick up some of your other books as I come across some money because I think you are a great writer. I think you're a great writer, and then I know they're gonna be good. I just know it because obviously your writing is good.
Okay, well, thank you.
I appreciate it, Eddie. I'll let you go, okay? And it's been great talking with you.
Okay, James, I enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. Vinyl and Vision is a Psychic Static production. Theme song written and performed by Jeff Robbins of 123 Astronaut.